March, Wescoal Holdings delivered solid full-year results as the business experienced a revenue surge to 1.1 billion rand. Joining us for more is Andre Boje, the Chief Executive of Wescoal. Andre, just to set the scene a little, Wescoal is a little bit like the old Cons Modder. When Lucas Perulis started, he would go and scratch around. They called him a cockroach. He would scratch around the old deposits that the big mining houses let go. And you've done the same thing very successfully so far.
Quite right.
But you seem to be now moving into a different field where you've got, particularly with your Elandspruit mine, where you've got a quality long-term asset.
Yeah, that's a substantial asset. We haven't stopped the scratching around. We are still looking to extend the life of Khanyisa and Ntubani up into 2017. But Elandspruit's our flagship project. That is our focus.
So Ntubani to 2017.
Yeah.
Last time we spoke to you 6 months ago, you said it had maybe 2 years left to go.
That's right, yeah.
So have you found new deposits?
Well, no, it's a resource that's squeezed between ourselves and Continental Coal that they can't do. Well, it's not Continental Coal, it's another companies that they can't do very much with. But we are right there. We got the open cast pit right there next to it, and Khanyisa is the same thing.
I want us to explore that scratching around that Alec mentioned a little bit further.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, expanding on Ntubani as well as Khanyisa. Does this make it difficult, though, to looking at other areas where you can explore to find
not really.
values?
Then we just look around where you've got your infrastructure. You know, you would never go and get a small little operation of 500,000 tons and put up infrastructure. It's where your infrastructure is. You just expand on that to your contiguous resources.
But I think the big thing in mining right now, and it's great that you're able to extract asset from or value from assets that have been left by others. But the big thing is the legislation, and we also spoke about this 6 months ago.
Yes,
what's developed there?
Well, you know, it's been sent. Well, it hasn't been sent back to Parliament yet, but it hasn't been promulgated either. The new act. So there is concern about it, but you know, it's not under my control. We are more concerned with our controllables, which is Elandspruit, focusing on Elandspruit, maximising value out of Khanyisa. And of course, we have a McPhail acquisition, which not many people are talking about. To us, that's a substantial acquisition, McPhail.
McPhail used to be listed separately some years
That's
ago.
correct. I actually worked for them when they were listed in the 90s.
What's left there?
A very good trading operation. Very lean, mean, hungry. I was with McPhail at the time, and we broke away and formed Chandler Coal, and we kicked each other to death for many, many years. And we've now got together, and I think we've got a very, very good trading operation there.
Competition issues?
And that's passed. We've done everything. Competition Commission gave us a hard time for a few months, but that's resolved. Because, you know, we're competing. I mean, in reality, with the current export prices of seaborne thermal coal, the primary producers are competing in the domestic space, because your domestic margins are higher than your international prices. So we've got serious competition.
Speaking about the domestic space, obviously Eskom, the likes of Medupi, is set to come on board next year. Surely that should have some kind of positive impact on your numbers? Well,
Medupi is way out of our league. You know, that's Exxaro, they're up north. Kusile, they haven't signed a contract yet with Anglo, but I'm sure they'll resolve those issues going forward. But Eskom is hungry for coal. They have the supply cliff coming in 2015, 2016, which Eskom themselves have acknowledged. So yes, that's going to increase. Continuity, without a doubt, continuity. But you must look at the higher margin business, which is the rest of the domestic market. There's a 16 million ton domestic market, which is everybody that needs energy, from a brewery to a cement manufacturer to any other manufacturers. Your margins are higher there because it's beneficiated product. Whereas Eskom is a low margin, but it's a continuous, nice cash flow.
But it's not your game, as you say. More of the McPhail. And that's an interesting acquisition. You say people aren't talking about it yet. Has the market brought it into the valuation of your shares?
I don't believe so. But you know,
what's the uplift then? What's the potential uplift?
Well, I mean, we showed it in the circular that year on year, if we take historical figures, not going forward, without synergy savings, anything else, it's 7 cents earnings. So, you know, we've earned 15.7 now. You can do those own sums.
But your share price is up 30% in the past year, so you've had a good run.
We've had a good run, but we're generating cash. Look at the cash we're generating. You know, we came off a low base in 2011. We had a bad run in 2011. We got hammered for that 2011 performance, but we've continually improved after that. Everything from cash generation to the extent the finance houses are funding us. You know, we're generating cash. If you look now, we've just done 101 million EBITDA. That's not. Well, in terms of the larger mining houses, that's Mickey Mouse. But in terms of small caps or penny stocks, that's not a bad EBITDA.
You've overcome the hurdle that all juniors seem to have found, which is access to capital.
Yes.
So I guess it's like when the banks aren't lending money on mortgages. If you're the only guy who's got cash in your pocket, you can buy houses cheap. Is it a similar situation?
Yes, exactly. We didn't need we needed funding, but we got very creative about how we funded our business historically, and now we got access to funding. We've got good access to funding. It's very difficult for a new player to come on the market and raise 170 to 200 million rand to open an airline's plate. It's not going to be that easy. And if you look at specifically the Eskom space, where they need 60 million tons from let's not call it BE miners, but junior miners in the next 5-6 years, where is this cash going to come from? That's a question I must ask.
So where are you hoping it might come from?
Well, I don't know, but we've got our cash.
Exactly. Well, you're using your cash quite wisely as well, really strong on acquisitions.
Yes.
Anywhere else where you might be distributing some of that capital?
Well, we pay dividends. You know, people ask me why we pay dividends when we've got a heavy capex spend, because our shareholders, our long-suffering shareholders, deserve to get dividends. You know, you've got to separate the thought train around dividends vis-a-vis capex. You look at the big mining houses, they pay dividends, but they still have massive capex spend. So why should we be any different?
But Andre, that Elandspreid deal, Glencore Xstrata had it available.
Yes.
It was a little small for them, but beautiful for you. Are there others in that range, the kind of 200 million range that might be available? I think that's where Gugu's going.
Yes, they are. I mean, nucleus alcohol from Exxaro was an example where it went out for open tender. We bid for it, we lost on that one, but more will come on stream. Let's just go back to your statement about Elandspreid. It wasn't so much that it was too small for them. We had a Vlaklaagte which sterilized some of their resources. So there was synergies as well, not just the size of it. I think it being contiguous to some of their current mines, they may not have disposed of it if it wasn't this attractive for them.